Alright guys, so I apologize if the audio is a bit windy, because it is a bit windy outside, but today I'm going to be replacing my intake manifold gasket. So that's what we're going to have fun with today. The lighting's pretty horrible on this, but yeah, anyway, I'm going to grab some tools and get the show on the road. So, guess we won't be needing this. Okay, so I just want to make clear that, I mean, this isn't really a DIY video or like a how-to. It's just me, like, you know, filming the progress of what it takes me to do this. I don't know, sometimes I just like to look back on things and see how, not see how I did necessarily, but it's just fun to look back on the things that you did on, you know, your cars. Like sometimes, like if you don't have them anymore, it's fun to look back on the videos and bring back those memories, because it's really fun. So what we've got here is pretty much take off this. And so before I start this, what I'm going to do, I mean, you guys can do this as well if you ever try to do this to yours, is to take off the fuel pump relay, which is, what is it, this farthest one? I'm pretty sure it's this one. Fuel pump relay. I'll take that off and I'll just start the car up and I'll run it until the fuel's out of the lines. And it won't be all out of the lines, but just so it won't be a bunch to get thrown at your face, because you do have to take the fuel rail off, and I don't know, I don't think any will shoot at you from popping the injectors off. So, I mean, we'll see what it does. And I thought I had to take this this line off because of the fuel rail, but I don't think I have to. I could just do the bolts for the fuel rail, and they'll just come right out. Just pop right out in one assembly, and we'll just move it to the side. As for what I have to do, honestly, it looks pretty straightforward. I mean, if you look on the intake gasket manifold, that's the only bolts that you have to take that intake manifold off. As for the intake, so you got about 5 there. So, I mean, it makes sense. So you've got one back there. I don't know if you can see it. One down there. Obviously one up here, there, and then another there. So, realistically, the only thing that's in the way from this is, I want to say, just vacuum lines, really. This vacuum line here, this vacuum line's got to come off. I got to take these clamps off to disconnect it from the, I want to say, the charge pipes there. So I can disconnect it from the charge pipe and just take the intake manifold out all in one. And then this connector's got to come off. And I think that's it. And then there's also, I don't know, some videos I've seen where some people will mention it like after the fact, like when they're done, but like when they get the manifold off, because you can't really tell. But I don't know if you could see it. Let's see if I can zoom in. There is a vacuum line that runs into the back of the manifold. I don't know if I can see. I don't know if it's really capturing it, but I'll show you that. But first things first, take the fuel pump relay off. Run the car till it's dry. Not really dry, but I'll put that there. guess there's no fuel in the lines to start. So I put everything back on for you guys for a split second just to show you guys what it's doing with the intake manifold. As you can see, it idles like shit. Very high. Come up here, probably hear that little vacuum leak. Not little, it's big. Now watch this. Put my finger through the intake manifold. You can hear it sucking. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Alright guys, so far I've taken off the oil catch can vacuum hose from there, and then also this vacuum line from the intake. Disconnect this one, as I broke the clip off because I tried pressing it in and it wouldn't come up, so I just pulled up and of course it snapped the little tab you push down. But whatever, so that connector's got to come off, and the connector down here, if you could see it, it is this one, goes there, whatever. And then I also had taken off the vacuum hose that goes under the intake, which is this line. It just sneaks down under there, and it's got one of those, and took that off obviously. So next left, all that I have to do is pretty much take the bolts off for the intake mani, take the fuel rail off, and the whole assembly should just come right out. And there's a bracket for the dipstick, of course you got to take off too. It's right down there. So another quick update, just to keep you guys in mind. These are the injector plugs, and this was the only one that left intact that had the clip still on there. Just keep in mind that, see, this one's broke, that the engine does get really hot, and so the clips probably aren't going to be in the best of shape. Obviously I broke 3 out of the 4 because they're just, I'm pressing on it and it's just not pulling up. It's just a lot of resistance on it, and then they just give up and crack just because they're so brittle. And that's what happened to the case with these 3. This was the only one that literally I pressed down, pulled right up. It was easy. But these 3 gave me some trouble. Just keep that in mind. That probably will happen, probably will break off. Alright, so once these bolts are off from the fuel rail holding your intake manifold to the intake manifold, your fuel rail will come off, and just like mine did, just pops right out. And you want to watch, because you see my O-ring. You want to make sure these O-rings are still in good shape. I mean, I didn't buy new ones, but if you're going to do this, I guess it's best to just replace them. I don't know, since it's just easy. Obviously mine popped off, so I gotta put that one back on. And that's pretty much it. All these bolts are almost out. I gotta get this last one there, and there's one. Where did it go? Where is it? Oh, right there. Probably can't even see it. It's too dark. The lighting on this camera is pretty, not the greatest. Also, for this last bolt on the end here, it's right next to the thermostat, and there's no way you can get an extension through to this bolt, you know, because that thermostat's in the way. Obviously, you see there's like no room there. If you come at it from the angle that it's at. So what I was just doing is taking this 10 over and over and just taking off slowly. But I guess you could also, if you really have a short stubby socket with this fuel rail off, you'll be able to get that. So the gasket right here is broken off. I don't know if you can see it. It's hard to focus this thing. Yeah, take it off and show you. But, yeah, this manifold's seen better days. So, this manifold is pretty much done. Look at that. That's the hole that I felt that you heard my fingers getting sucked up from. It's because of that hole right there. This one was starting to go, it's starting to get brittle. Right at the top there. A little bit more would have gave way, but this whole gasket was done already. I mean, it was gone. Let's take this thing off. I mean, that thing is done. Look at that, like, wow. Yeah, I guess it was time for a new one. Definitely time. Clean my manifold there a little bit. Probably clean it a little bit more, but yeah. And there's oil around the intake manifold. Chambers. I'm not sure what that would be the cause of. I'm not sure. Maybe blow by. Here's a part of the gasket still sitting there. Can't see it. Wow, that's close. This is Manny Koshbin on YouTube.
Good Lord, this is why I don't take my cars out. I need a better garage. The hardest thing with owning so many different micro cars is where all the front left and reverse and, you know, all different.
But yeah, I just figure I take a break here for a little bit after I got that intake manifold off, because I mean, I woke up and went straight to making this video. I didn't really get a drink or anything, so got a little bit of a headache. But yeah, I mean, so I'm gonna get back out there and clean the intake manifold a little bit better, and it should be good from there. But I mean, the thing was toast. Headaches are fun. You should try them sometime. Try them sometime. But anywho, let me get back to watching a little bit more of Manny Koshbin and his nice car collection. He's got a Senna, an Hermes Pagani Huayra, couple Bugattis, bunch of SLRs. This man is living the dream. And he's got an underground car vault. Beautiful. Alright, so got the intake manifold back on along with the Honda manifold gasket there. Let's see here, let's see if you can see inside it. Yeah. See that blue blue tint, is that gasket there. And, pretty much all the bolts are back in. As for the manifold, you know, the thing left is some vacuum lines. Well, I think I got all the vacuum lines, to be honest. Oh yes, these two connectors that I gotta put back on the throttle body, and tighten up this clamp there to the charge pipe, and just put in the fuel rail, and she should be good to go and start up. And, I'll be right back after that's done. And so the last piece goes on. Click, click. Well, let's see how she runs. Relay on there. Everything's good to go. Squeaky door. Can never figure out how to fix that squeak. Both my cars do it. Put WD-40 on it, don't work. Whatever. So, fuel pump prime. Wow. She's a lot quieter. Definitely noticed the vacuum leak from the front of the vehicle has dissipated. Now there is a slight misfire due to I need a fuel pump replaced. That was the thing when I first was talking earlier. A few things need to be replaced on this vehicle, and that's one of them, the fuel pump. Because ever since I get on anywhere from like a quarter tank and below, it's really harsh. Like, I don't know, because it seems like the fuel consumption, but whatever it's doing, it's like breaking it up because there's not enough fuel at that low of a level to be consistent. You know, so it leads me to believe that it's a fuel pump that's, you know, doing that. But it seems to be a fairly well idle. So there you have it, I guess. Let's check the idle. Running about 950 RPMs. Oh, there she is. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and drive it. See how it feels. Popping like crazy, man. Ever since I stopped having that vacuum leak. Let's just goes straight up in the RPM. And I apologize for the wind. It's probably really windy, but it's just really crazy. Like, it's a big difference. Well, guys, that's about it for today's fun. Now, I will say it is about a world of a difference as for power, because it does seem like I gained a lot. So, well, I mean a lot from that. So, I mean, to me it feels like probably, I don't want to exaggerate, but it does feel like about 50 horsepower. Like, I lost a lot. I lost a lot of that air. It was probably trying to compensate for the loss of air and just giving it too much fuel, running it rich, you know, all that, you know, shit, all that stuff. So, I mean, I know it's funny because I said earlier that I didn't want to do like a crap, what was it? I wasn't trying to do a DIY or a how-to video, but I was giving pointers as if, you know, somebody later on down the road wanted to do it, they can go to this video, you know, see how it helped them. Now, I know I didn't really video me taking off actual bolts and stuff, but I did show bolts. I mean, I don't really think people need to, I mean, to each his own, but I don't really even think people need to, or that I need to film every bolt that I take off. So turn this light on here. Yep, and that's about it. I just figured it'd be a nice thing to look back on. If somebody's wanting to do that to their car, they could see what I did. And not every car is the same. So, I mean, I know a lot are different, and a lot have different setups. Sure, have different vacuum lines and all that good stuff. But, I mean, mine's pretty much basic for the most part. As for most SRTs, they are pretty much, most of them are pretty much stock. They're not like bigger turbo stage 3 and up and, you know, all that. But for the most part, it's basic. So hopefully that will help, you know, a few people there in the future. So, I mean, that about wraps it up for today's video. I mean, I don't know what else I'm gonna be doing other than going to the store and getting some groceries, which that's not really fun, but yeah. Well, I'll catch you guys later on the next video. Thank you for tuning in, and yeah, subscribe, all that good stuff. Peace.